Kia ora, Dion Jensen here. Thank you so much for turning up today. I'm going to run you through 3 parts of how we deal with mental health challenges as a VA, as a virtual assistant. And if you filled out the survey now, I would have been backstage watching this. I've recorded this part because I want to be very clear on the 3 components that we're going to go through today. I've just come down here all nice and relaxed in a t-shirt, sitting on the couch, because a lot of this stuff is really scary. Right? Starting your own business, trying to find clients, working from home, all the COVID stuff going on. Now we're talking about mental health. It can be a lot and it can be quite scary. So for the first 2 parts of this recorded presentation for you, we're just going to relax. Okay? So take a deep breath in and breathe out. Oh, okay? You can chill out. We can just sit here and hang out and have a good old chit chat for the first 2 parts, and then in the last part I'll shoot back to the academy. I'll chuck the suit jacket on and I'll give you a toolbox and some things to do as your ideal client, because a lot of the fears for VAs is actually getting clients, getting paid, doing really good, getting a really good reputation, and being able to actually do this, right? Being actually running your own business from home. And that can be a real big gap between what you used to do to now running your own business. It can be like, whoa. So this is just going to be low key. Fellow Kiwi, talking to some other Kiwis first about what mental health is, what the main mental health challenges are, and how that specifically relates to you as a VA. And some of these things you already know because you're experiencing them. Some of you have never heard this before, and a lot of what I'm going to teach you, no one else has heard it before because I've created it. So the first thing that we're going to go through is this term mental health. It is 100% positive. Mental health. Being fit and healthy mentally, upstairs, all right? In our mind, where we think, where we apply logic, where we get understanding and clarity, it's all done up here, right? This is not the only part of who we are as human beings. We have our mind, we have our body, we have our soul, and we have our spirit. Whatever labels you want to put onto it, there's really only 3 things that we can do as human beings. We think, we feel, we do. Thoughts, feelings, behavior. So when I'm talking today, I'm only going to talk about the head, the heart, and the body, because we've all got bodies, and this is really, really important. You have to look after your body if you're going to get through these next bits. So, mental health. Why do we always talk about the mental side of things, the mind side, when we know our heart and all our feelings and our emotions are more powerful? That is because your mind has been designed to be the boss. Your mind has been designed like this amazing spotlight that if you can focus your mind, whatever you focus on grows, right? It's like a super powerful spotlight. So when we focus on the things that we're scared of, it really blows out. And for those of us that had a lot of mental training through the military, through the police, through bodyguarding, hardship, adversity, when you can train your mind can override your emotions. Your mind can override physical pain. Your mind is powerful, all right? But you don't let it run rampant because if it takes off on you, it's really hard to get back sometimes. So mental health is 100% positive. The term is positive. It's got health in it, all right? Mental health challenges is when we start dealing with 3 main things: fear, pain, or pressure. So in the context of being a virtual assistant, that's why we got you to fill out the survey. What are you afraid of? What are your fears? I want to give yourself permission now. If you've got pen and paper, you're taking notes, write down, what am I afraid of? What are you afraid of? So when I was building the Line Academy, I came from being employee to consultant to author, speaker, trainer, everything else, to building the global organization, which is now the Line Academy. I was terrified of failing because so many people are relying on me. I'm terrified of turning into someone that I didn't want to be. I want to stay this humble Kiwi dude. I don't want to be perceived as anything special. I had a fear of success as well. I had fears of just looking stupid. I had fears of being judged You know, who the hell do you think you are, mate? You're an ex-soldier, an ex-cop from New Zealand. You got tattoos and Jesus tattooed on your arm. How are we supposed to take you seriously as a businessman? You know, and then we break global sales records, and then we become the first Goldcast speaker of the decade. So we've achieved amazing results. But I still had all those same fears as well. Also had the healthy fear as a parent. Basically, there's nothing that breathes air on the planet that I'm physically scared of. I'm not scared of dying. I'm not scared of any of that stuff. But I'm a parent. I have a natural fear for my kids' future and for their health and for their happiness. So write down, what are you afraid of? What fears to you are very relevant at the moment? And your relationship to fear is going to color every decision you make, every thought that you have. Because fear is an emotion, and emotion is just energy. So what are you afraid of? Because when we drill into fear in the next part, when you understand your relationship to fear and what fear is actually trying to do for you, which is positive, those messages become very, very clear that you can turn around, use it as a positive, and carry on. So the next part, pain. I never assume that the people I'm speaking to right now are just in the lane of which I'm speaking to you. Just because I'm speaking to you as a virtual assistant, future virtual assistant, current, past, doesn't matter, here on the summit. Just because you're a virtual assistant doesn't mean that before you got here you haven't experienced pain in your life. Emotional pain, mental pain, physical pain, spiritual pain. I don't know. Most people have dealt with pain. And so what pains have you dealt with before you come to hear from me today that still affect how you think, feel, or behave? Write those down as well. What am I afraid of? What stuff has hurt me, that I still haven't dealt with? Because if you've still got a wound there, as we start moving forward into the last part of pressure, when pressure builds up, it'll go to the weakest parts of you to come out. All right. Well, this is sounding really positive, Dion. Come on, put some positive energy in there. My people came onto the summit to learn some positive stuff. This is positive. This is someone telling you stuff that probably no one's told you before. You cannot be successful in business until you as a human being is rock solid. That's why we're talking about mental health, because that's the term that everyone understands is getting this bit right. This bit is just one piece of the rest, and I'll show you the link between the head and the heart. So what are you afraid of? What pain have you dealt with in the past that you don't want to have to deal with again, because they'll link together and they'll grow together. But you might have some really good lessons from that. And then the last one is pressure. Pressure is the catalyst for everything else. Right? We can talk the big terms, and we can talk about confidence, we can talk about psychology, we can talk about all these things. But there's one thing they all have in common. It is pressure building up and expanding and trying to find the weakest part of you to get out. And that'll manifest in every industry and in every person if you don't know how to deal with pressure. Okay? So what are you afraid of? What pain have you dealt with or you don't want to deal with? And where are you feeling pressure right now? Write all the stuff down, because we're going to deal with it, get rid of it, get into the positive, take it into our role as virtual assistants, and use that for our successes. Right? It's really important. This gives us our baseline. Again, take a breath. So I'm sitting down here in a t-shirt on the couch. We can just have a chat. Nothing scary is going to happen in this conversation. Right? So let's come back to pressure. If pressure builds up and we don't deal with it correctly, it then becomes stress. You can't get to a stressful state, deal with stress at all, until pressure has got to a certain level. Now here's the interesting thing. We need pressure to survive. Blood pressure. If it's too low, no good. If it's too high, no good. We actually need the perfect level of pressure for you, for me. And you need to know where those levels are. Because if pressure becomes too high, it then becomes stress. What happens when you're stressed? That's when the cracks start to happen. That's where the term stress fracture comes from. Pressure has built up, energy has built up to the point where something starts cracking. Right? The cracks start starting to show. Right? So, first tip is finding ways to relieve pressure. And because our mind, body, soul, and spirit is linked, that's why breathing is so important. Exercise is so important. Mantras are so important, because it's a way to relieve pressure. So if I've got a garden hose, like hose in the garden, and I put a kink in that and I try and hold it, what's happening? Pressure is building up in the back of that hose. And the more I hold it, more pressure builds up. At some point, it's gonna pop, all right? So the trick here is as pressure starts building to that point, and then the jug's just starting to boil, give it an outlet, all right? If that means you gotta take a breath, kids are going bananas in one room, you're trying to fold the laundry up, knowing that you got to go and dial into someone's email to check the emails for a proposal coming through as a VA, and then something's boiling on the stove, and then someone's knocking on the door. It's too much pressure. You've got to relieve the pressure somehow. So what are you afraid of? What things have hurt you, pain that you haven't dealt with, don't want to deal with again? And where is all your pressure at the moment? And do you have ways of relieving that pressure? Because what will happen, if you start trying to spin plates, we'll use the spinning plate analogy here, you trying to spin all these plates, that's going to create what? Pressure. What sort of pressure is that? That's like task pressure, organizational pressure. You know, there's financial pressure as being a VA, but if you're spinning plates, you're going to drop one. And so the trick is, or the skill is, instead of spinning plates, if you face that all forward, turn those plates into cogs that run each other, all of a sudden we move from balance to harmony. So making all your tasks work together. So one part of your life could be going crazy, but that craziness is spinning all the stuff in the way that you want to spin it. The difference between balance and harmony is the difference between spinning plates and being under massive pressure to using that pressure in something you've designed. So no matter what comes into it, it just spins the whole thing and gives you what you want. So as a VA, list down all your plates that you're dealing with. Family, kids, relationship, work, whatever plates you have. People want to start with one plate and what's on your plate. I wish I only had one plate. Right? We've got all these other plates, and as a VA, you are now going to be responsible for managing other people's plates. And if you treat them as plates and try and spin them all and keep them, they'll break. You'll drop one. You might keep my one spinning if I'm the client, making sure I'm cool, and you might drop your family plate. You might be spending more time on your laptop sending my emails than colouring in with your kid in the colouring in book. You may spend more time organising an event for a client than spending time with your significant other that's laying in bed right now reading a book while you're trying to do your business. Okay? It's really important, guys. So to recap this first part, mental health is all positive. It's the state of all of what we think, feel and do, controlled by our mind. It's a positive statement. It's a positive word. Mental health. Health is healthy, right? There's nothing dark or scary about mental health. It's the ability to stay healthy under mental pressure. So we're dealing with fear, pain and pressure. Your relationship to fear will dictate how you act when you come under pressure or come anywhere near pain. What pain have you dealt with? It could be the pain of rejection. If one of your pains in your life is rejection, loneliness, judgment, value, that's going to leak across into you trying to get clients as a VA, right? It's energy. People pick up on that. The beautiful side of that is you can now choose which clients you want to work with in the manner in which you want to deal with them. So here on the summit, I've seen who else is speaking. You've got people here helping you with your confidence. You've got people here helping you with your website. You've got people here 10xing and manifesting your ideal clients. You've got all of this to pull from. But you must be honest with yourself and go through this exercise first. What are you afraid of? What pain have you dealt with that you haven't healed from yet? List this all down. Write this down now. What are you afraid of? What pain have you dealt with? And then pressure. How do you normally handle pressure? Write that all down. Because in the next part, I'll teach you how to deal with all of those things. And right at the end of it, when we go back into the academy, I'll give you a whole lot of tools and stuff that you can do and give you access to one of the courses so you can work through it. Be true to yourself. Be honest to yourself to write down your weaknesses, write down your flaws, write down all your cracks right now. Because if you and I can deal with them together, then when pressure manifests, that bit's solid, is not going to go anywhere. It'll just spin the cogs in your VA machine and it'll just work the way you want it to work it. So, do those exercises. I'll talk to you in the next part. Our relationship to fear, our relationship to pain, and our relationship to pressure, and how to choose which relationship that we want to have to benefit us. See you in the next bit. All right, part 2. Hopefully you've written down what you're afraid of, your pains, and how you handle pressure. You understand the spinning plate to the cog side. Part 2, let's get into this and how we alleviate these things. The first thing, your relationship to fear. Up here is a really cool acronym I did, and I'm going to show you a little short snippet on what the acronym is in some live context that I did in front of a live audience. So check this out.
Who's here that heard that public speaking is the world's #1 fear? Who's heard that? There's no such thing. There is no such thing as the fear of public speaking. It is a fear of rejection and judgment and embarrassment. It is the same fear we all have, especially here in Asia, is this fear of losing face. Fear is an absolute gift. We don't want to overcome it. We don't want to beat it. We don't want it to go away. We want to have it every opportunity that we can. An absolute gift. And this is what I teach people that haven't been in combat before. It is okay to be scared. You need to be scared. Being scared is an absolute advantage and a gift. Let me explain. As soon as you experience fear, boom, instant focus. I have immediate focus, instant focus. Now her heart rate's going up, the adrenaline's been dumped, and now she's got all this extra what? Energy. Free focus. Free energy. You didn't have to pay $20,000 for a motivational speaker to give you focus and energy. Fear gave it to you. It is a gift. But it is your attitude that will dictate your results. And the attitude I want you to have is one of confidence.
Hey? Makes sense, right? So your relationship to fear. Let me share with you my relationship to fear, and you can have that one too. Fear is your bodyguard. It is 100% working for you for free. So as soon as something comes that could possibly hurt you or cause you pain, something that scares you or something that hurts you, right? Fear is going to dive in their shoulder and go, look out, and take your focus, all right? Free focus. Then your body's going to dump adrenaline, right? So that you're ready to, fight or run. And now you've got all this free energy. Yeah? Free focus, free energy, you saw the clip. Now your attitude, where's attitude? Attitude's here, it's mental, right? Mental health. Your attitude is going to dictate your results. So absolutely fine to be scared. Thank you, bodyguard. Yep. That looks terrifying. That is an orange and black striped thing with 4 legs and big teeth and claws, which could probably hurt me. I appreciate you letting me know that. All right? Your relationship with fear, it's natural. It's a bodyguard. Works for you. And it works 24/7 for free, right? Cheapest employee you're ever going to get. So it's okay to be scared. So when I wrote down what are you scared of, now we come to how do we deal with that. All right, so I want you to take the list of what you're scared of. And look, right now, for any of you that's comfortable in sharing it, chuck some of your fears down in the comments as people are going through this. Not for my benefit, but for everyone else listening to this bit. They can start seeing the fears that everyone has, which is natural, because a lot of the time, if you're scared of something in a group, you don't want to let anyone else know. All right? So I shared with you some of my fears. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of loneliness, fear of looking like an idiot. Right? So when I see someone else share the same fears, like, oh, thank God it's not just me. So please put some of the fears as a VA that you're scared of right now. Chuck them in the comments so that people can go, oh, me too, me too, me too. And then we can have dialogue. We can help each other out. All right, so let's go through some of these fears. Fear of failure. Okay, all fears are 100% valid because they manifested. So they're valid. Something about who you are has recognized something that scared you. It's valid. But now that you've applied your mind to it, is it accurate? Right? So fear of failure. Have you ever failed in your life before? Yes. Are you still here today? Yes. All right? So failure is actually how human beings learn. All right? As a VA, you've got the whole VA summit here. You've got the whole membership group. You can learn in here from other people that have failed. So a smart man or a smart woman learns from their mistakes. But a wise man or a wise woman learns from other people's mistakes. As a VA, there's probably no mistake that's led to failure that Sam and Joe haven't dealt with. All right, so when they see all of these comments, they can feed that into that membership side. So where are you scared of failing? All right, and then when you say that to me, Dion, I'm scared of not being able to get any clients, that's going to lead into the pressure. Right, that's why I talk about fear, pain, and pressure. I'm going to leave pain out of it for a moment, just the relationship between fear and pressure. So if you fail, what pressure is that going to create? Could create financial pressure, or it might be emotional pressure. You might have, you're trying to prove something to yourself. Hopefully not trying to prove it to other people, but that happens in relationships sometimes. You might have just been the housewife, that just word of housewife I spoke about, and you want to say, I'm more than just a housewife. I can be a legitimate business owner on myself and deal. And if I fail, I just proved all my haters right. Is that fear valid? Yeah, of course it is, because that's going to feed into the pressure of, financial pressure, rejection, judgment, all that side of things, right? If you fail, when you fail, we all fail. It's a learning point. Your failure, when you fail, 'cause we all will, someone else has already failed the same way. You're not unique in failing. It's actually how we're designed to learn, right? So that fear of failure, it's really hard doing it by yourself. Buddy up with someone. Get a battle buddy. If you're a VA right now, you might be part of the membership and everything else, but make friends with someone. Pick someone as a battle buddy. Put it in the comments now. Hey, I want to be a VA, but I don't know any other VAs. Who wants to be my battle buddy? And if you can't find someone, you hook up with Sam and Joe in the membership side. Share your fears. Share what you're scared of in regards to failure. Share it with Sam and Joe, because then they can plug in and give you those tools as a VA that can help you. Okay, let's talk about another fear. Weird one. Success. One of my fears. There are introverts amongst you. There are wonderful, beautiful, introverted people amongst the people watching this right now. And so you're very humble. And sometimes there's a fear that you might get too popular, you might get too big, you might get too successful. For people madly chasing this, they don't understand this fear, but I understand this fear. Because my life growing up money's always been the last thing. It had the least amount of value to my tribe. Family was always first, and we're a military family, it's looking after each other and stand for something righteous in the world. And so money wasn't up there. So we never want to be perceived as having a lot of money. I'll never have a mansion and Ferraris and lots of bling and diamonds and stuff. I'm just not that guy. So there's a fear of success that we need to talk about here as well. Now, fear of success can be alleviated by earning something through hard work. Sometimes a fear of success is when you get something that you feel that you don't deserve, right? But you've worked for this. Like, this is not easy. To become a VA and start your own business and do these things, absolutely you can do it, but it takes a lot of effort. So it's really, really difficult to be successful by accident for free unless you're doing something illegal, or you're a celebrity or a rap star or something like that. That's just massive. So if you have a fear of success, change the word to earning what you've worked for. And it's just perception. All right. Now, perception is reality, but I want you to think about your perception of what success means. Redefine the word, use a different word, but what is your definition of success? If you have a fear of success, a lot of times, real talk now, so I'm sitting down, real talk, sometimes you don't want to go to the next level because of who you're scared of leaving behind. You might be quite happy where you are, and you think that if you go that next level up, these ones drop away. Okay? So you can become successful, you can go to all of these levels and then still be emotionally connected to people. That's fine. I had to talk about that one because there's a lot of introverts that like this working from home, they like the admin side, that like disappearing into the screen where they've got control and no one can hurt them and it's peaceful. Alright, so I wanted to speak about that one. Fear of judgment and rejection, natural. 100% natural. Now this is really going to manifest when it comes to the sales and marketing component of you trying to get clients. And so let me be super honest on this one. I know that just about every VA here, if I just turn up and went, right, I need 10 VAs, I've got 10 hours work for the next every month for the next year, I need you to do this and this and this. Every single one of you go, yep, I could do that. Because you're not having to go and sell yourself. You're not having to go out there and risk getting rejected. You know, good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Dion Jensen. I run a virtual assistant agency. I love what you do, and we want to be your virtual assistant agency. And my little sister Amanda is going to be your virtual assistant because she's an absolute ninja on Excel, and I can see in your business that you love Excel. Whoa, they're going to come back and go, who the heck are you? You guys are hopeless. Boom, we get rejected. All right. Now in the normal business world, that's just sales and marketing. You know, some you win, some you lose, some you don't. But if you're someone that hasn't personally dealt with rejection and judgment, which is why in part 1, you know, what are you scared of? Where's your pain? That's going to manifest over this side. So, how do we solve that? Very, very simple. You get someone else to sell you. As part of my mentoring programs, the biggest challenge, hands down, above everything else, is the inability or the lack of desire for any of my people to charge a certain amount or sell what they do, because they love what they do, they like who they are, but they don't want to risk getting rejected because they see their business proposal getting rejected as their self-worth getting rejected. So the long path is build your self-esteem so high that no one can knock it. But in business, the smart way to do it is get someone to do something else that removes the risk. It's called risk assessment. Put a control measure in place for that risk so you can't be rejected. You're not the one submitting the proposals and everything else. Which again is another awesome reason I like having my own VA. Because what I do is I write my proposals, I send it to my VA and I go, right, send those proposals out. Now she's dealing with all of that, not me. Now I've got no problem doing it, but there's that another level now. But you as a VA, you can do the same. You can hire someone else to sell your services. If you don't want to sell yourself, or you don't want to risk being rejected, you haven't dealt with that yet, get someone else to sell your services. Right? Partner with someone, even if you don't have any money. Go, hey, reach out to someone like me. Reach out to me if you want to. I've got heaps of people in my network. Oh, hi Dion, I reckon I'm an awesome VA and this is my speciality and this is how I like doing it. But I'm not really comfortable in selling myself. Do you know someone that would really benefit from that? Then I can ring someone and go, hey, g'day mate, Dion here. Listen, I see you're organising an event for September. Who have you got on your team to handle the emails? This, that, and the other? I've got this awesome VA who came through the VA summit, who's really, really good at the stuff. I use it for my stuff. She's available. Can I put you in touch? Then someone else is selling you. Then you don't risk that rejection, that judgment. So that's one option. The best option, obviously, is build your self-esteem, your inner mana so high, you know, that none of that affects you, which is a journey, okay? But right now, if you're a VA right now and you're really good at what you do, you're just not comfortable in selling yourself, talk to Sam and Joe, make sure you're loaded on their site so people can come and find you, that's worded really well. And maybe even do a barter deal with another VA that's really good at handling that conversation, all right? Because when we get to negotiating in business, you know, that's a real skill. And if you've got a fear of rejection or judgment, then that's going to activate that within you as a person. All right, so that's an easy way out, that one. Feeling alone and isolated. Oh my goodness, this tough one, right? It's a real tough one. Loneliness is something that I've dealt with a lot in my life, and I'm an outgoing, popular guy, and I've always been surrounded by people. But when you're going through stuff in your head or your heart that you don't want anyone else to know about, that's when you feel really, really alone. I could be in a room full of crowded people that are really, really happy, but if I'm hurting in here, and I don't want anyone else to know, it's really lonely, all right? So I want to acknowledge that it can be really, really lonely and scary in here and in here if you can't share how you're feeling or what you're thinking about that's scaring you, causing you this pain. So I want to give everyone here 100% confidential approval to contact me directly, no charge, none of that. If you're terrified about anything and you don't want anyone else to hear about it, okay, you can talk to me about it. Sam and Joe, you can 100% talk to them. And in this community, like in this VA Foundry, it's a community of people looking out for each other, and it's policed and protected by Sam and Joe. So please reach out for those one-on-ones, PM, get on a call with Sam or Joe or someone else in there, or myself if you want to. Look, Dion, I'm good at this stuff. I'm terrified of trying to sell it to someone else. If you could just give me the work and I could do it, then definitely talk to Jo, because she runs agencies and stuff as well. So I just want to acknowledge that. That's absolutely fine. Now we're going to move into pressure, dealing with pressure. Financial pressure. Boom, let's hit this one straight in the head. So many people are under financial pressure because they can't plot the income. Right? That's the biggest pressure. So doing a financial forecast when you're an employee, when payday is, when pay comes in. When you're out here now and you're running your own business, like you're a onesie now, right? I like to call it onesie because it reminds me of my daughter wearing her onesie and her pajamas and my boy, right? So you're a onesie if you're a consultant or a VA, you're trying to sell your services. If you're with the Foundry, you've got a team around you, but you're a onesie. And sometimes mentally you start thinking, when you hear the words, I'm now running my own business, you take your mind to like a full-blown business. Well, think more, come back a step as a consultant. Just come back as a consultant or a contractor, right? Bring your mind back from, oh my God, I'm running my own business. All right, just come back here to consultant. You were an employee. Now, yes, you're working for yourself and as an entity, you're a business, but don't disappear up until you've got a fully fledged business with all the accounting stuff and money and you're a consultant, right? You got a skill set. That's valuable. And for my skill set, I will charge you between $60 and $120 an hour to exercise my skill set. That will relieve a lot of that pressure. Now, the financial pressure side of not knowing where the money's coming from, you reverse engineer those financial goals. Sam and Jo will take you through this. So work out all the money that you need each month or fortnight, however your brain works. Break that down to how many clients doing how many hours. Then packages are the secret. So I'm going to switch hats, go a little bit of business coaching here. Packages sell so much better because the same pain the same financial pressure is for clients out there at the moment. I'm a client, so I'm going to speak to you as a client now. So I like paying blocks. I like paying packages. My VA, I pay 3 months at a time in advance. So I'm guaranteeing you this many hours a month, 3 months at a time in advance. Because that relieves the financial pressure on my VA. She knows that she's getting this many hours and this much money every 3 months from me in advance. So she can now plan. That takes that financial pressure off. So when you're out there dealing with clients, don't try and get try and lock into minimum hours a month and sell packages, right? Sell quarters, right? Sam and Jo will take you through this as well. As a client, I like buying quarterly packages or lifetime access to stuff. But just when you are selling yourself or getting someone else to sell you, sell it in packages. Say, look, I'm a specialist in proposal writing, sales pipelines. Tell you what, it just came to me now. If anyone here is just like really good at taking stacks of business cards and entering that onto an Excel spreadsheet so we can bulk import, please put that in the comment because I could use you right now. But just sell those packages. So I do quarterly packages. I can manage this bit for this much, this bit for that much, that much for that much. And you pay quarterly and you pay in advance. Right? Boom, 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 boom. Then it's really, really easy to plan. Okay? And it'll take a lot of that financial pressure off. So another type of pressure we have is the weight of expectations. All right? This is an interesting one because I've dealt with a lot of people that come to me with this in different industries. The weight of the expectations they place on themselves and the weight of expectations that other people can place on them, especially partners or parents. Now, I'm a parent and I'm a partner, so I'm real careful with this now. The weight of other people's expectations. Only people that you care about and you love immensely, you care about what they think about you. So there's lots of weights of expectations. My parents were absolutely amazing. I didn't feel any weight of their expectations apart from they expected me to be a good human being. My dad expected me to be a gentleman and my mum expected me to be kind to everyone that I met. Those are the expectations and the standards that they held me to. But I didn't feel that weight of expectation that you had to succeed like those crazy sporting parents or those pageant parents, right? Crazy. So for you as a VA, I want you to be very, very careful of whose expectations is creating pressure for you. Okay? Not the finances, not everything else, but the weight of expectations. So if you're putting a lot of weight on your shoulders now to say, hey man, I was really good at my job when I was like the HR manager and this, that and the other, and now you're out here and like I expect to be at that level straight away, be careful with that. All right, talk to Sam and Joe, look at the timeline and that progression. If you've got those contacts, you might be able to go from here to here. But if you know John C. Maxwell's 5 levels of leadership, you can't go from one to the other in the same organization without coming back down through the bottom. So be careful about the level of expectations you put on yourself. Write them down, mark them out, put them in the comments. Hey, here's another one. Put them in the comments now. What are your expectations for yourself as a VA? And I'm not going to tell you which one to put. You'll know what you want to put in there. Put in there monthly income if you want to. Put in how many clients. Put in how many philanthropy hours. Put in the positive difference you want to make. Whatever the expectations that you're having for yourself as a VA, put them in the comments. All right, we'll all work on this together. We talked about spinning plates, work and family. All right. Ooh, okay, I'm going to be careful with this one. Careful. I don't have a picture of a careful animal on my chest. All right, let's get straight down the middle. Right, work and family. You're an individual, divine being in your own right. Doesn't matter what your husband or your wife thinks, all right? You decide. You decide how you want this VA thing to work for you as a human being in your life, because it's your life, all right? Compromise breeds resentment. I was not expecting to have this conversation in this presentation, but you are a onesie at the moment, creating your own business. You need this to work. You want to take as much pressure off you as you possibly can, which means you need to be in control. Now, balance and harmony, work with your partner, work within the family dynamics, obviously, but it's on you to choose what you want out of this deal. This is why I get to come on and say it, right? So even if your husband or wife is watching, it's like, what? Who's that guy? What do you say? You have to. You only got one life. Enjoy this. When you're becoming a VA, choose the type of client you want to work for that's doing the type of things that you love. Do the tasks that you enjoy, not the ones that you're good at. I hate Excel spreadsheets. I almost throw up in my mouth if I even hear myself say it like I just did before. I like flow diagrams. Can I use Excel? Absolutely, I'm really good at it. I have very high skills, but I hate it. So choose what you want. So your work family pressures that you have in regards to combining that with expectations as a VA, you have to choose. Now, the different work family pressure is spinning that plate. It's all the things that we have to do, picking our kids up, dropping off from school. I know someone watching this right now that is laying in bed with their sick kid, still trying to get this information so that they can make a better life for that kid. All right? That's family pressure, but that's natural. All right? That's good on your mum or good on your dad. All right? Take that pressure, like that blood pressure, and use it for good things. And then the last one is relationships. So this is more for those VAs that are single mums or single dads or just single. All right? You know, we all want love and connection out there in the world. So make sure you leave some time for that as well. Yeah, you want to get your business and your VA income going, but put that in harmony. Don't make relationships a plate that you don't spin as much while you're doing the business stuff. Put that cog in there, you know, and if you're clever with it, you might be able to do some VA work in industries where you can meet people that you're interested in. There you go. That's a good one for you, eh? For you singlies out there, you could, you know, become a VA and specialize in social media marketing or managing sales pipelines for dating sites or for professional singles, or you know, there's nothing you can't do as a VA. Like, man, you guys are valuable to people like me. Should be really valuable to yourself. So the last bit that we're going to go through, okay, we'll do a quick recap. Part 1, now it's all about fear, pain and pressure, mental health being positive and how that all works. This part here is like addressing some of those fears and some of those pressures and what we can do about it. Other ways of relieving pressures in your mind is get it out. Draw it, scribble it, write it down. This is my scribble pad. This is a remarkable pad. Whatever you scribble on, it goes, right? So what you can do is actually, I love circles. You can just put all the plates from above that you're dealing with, and I'll put this up on the screen as well. And then just list down all the stuff that you're dealing with in regards to everything that we just spoke about. And then we can just deal with each of these. And so let's put some of these down. Let's put, I don't know, kids, partner, money, time, gym. Shout out to my V8, Amy, gym time. nature walk. Study. You might be studying as well, studying to become a doctor, being a VA in the meantime, cashing up in between studies. Travel. Right, travel is really important. Then now, so all of a sudden, what I have to start with could be perceived of all these plates I've got to spin. However, we just talked about being very, very clever. If we link these all together and they become cogs in a machine that all spin each other, then as a VA, you could actually make that your client hit list. I want to work for clients in the travel industry. I want to work for clients that are in universities. Like there's so much you can do. I'm really excited for you. So how we deal with mental health challenges, we understand that it's all positive, we understand that it's all linked, we've attacked some of those fears and those pressures. Now we're going to end up, that's going to sound like a lot, but now we're going to end up somewhere that you now understand there's lots of stuff that we're going to create the space right here, and it's going to come down to value. The value you see in yourself. And that's going to come from two places, right? This is the VIP triangle from the VIP of mental health. Your value is going to come from your identity or your purpose, who you are or what you do. So we're working on your personal triangle first. Where do you see your value as a person? Your identity of your name. Just start there, your name. What's your value? And then for what you do. So once we link to what we do to being a VA, your identity as a VA has a super high value. Oh my God. People like me don't get to run our businesses without people like you. Valuable. There's never been a better time to be a virtual assistant with everyone working from home and trying to put their businesses online. I mean, there's your first piece of marketing now. Are you trying to get your business online and getting overwhelmed with all the online tasks? That's my speciality. Who am I? I am the overwhelmed workers VA. I specialize in sitting down with all your tasks and put them all in order, right? Like you saw the interview with myself and Joe Jensen, the difference between my busy background and Joe's beautiful heart-shaped post-it notes. All right. Value as a VA is super, super high. And you link that value to what you can actually do for people, the purpose of what you can actually do. Be specific for what you want and the client you want to work with. I specialize in, man, I'm giving you massive gold nugget here. I am a virtual assistant that specializes in collating all of your contacts from your entire email database or your box of business cards, databases of people in your niche. I've got 16,000 contacts on LinkedIn in your industry, and I specialize in taking all of those contacts, put them on a database, one database, and attaching an email marketing campaign to it so that you can communicate with over 50,000 people with the click of a button. All right, there you go. One massive gold nugget. Another massive gold nugget is if you're a virtual assistant that's really good at social media. Okay, so in the academy I teach 3 levels in social media. Start up, clean up, rise up. The biggest value at the moment in social media is the cleanup of all the accounts for people that have already been in business. Are you a business owner or entrepreneur that's been doing social media for more than 2 years? Yep. Cool. Have you created multiple accounts with multiple messaging and you've created a whole lot of content out there, but now you need to grab it all, clean it all up, put it back in order and be very strategic with utilizing that energy, right? I'll buy that right now as well. Here we are again, back in the Line Academy. I'm the founder of a global organization. I have a VA. If you have any fears or doubts in regards to your ability to help people in business, you are looking at your ideal client. I'm amazing at what I do. And I have a very high skill level and I have gifts that are valuable in the world. So do you. All it takes right now is to make a decision. Make a decision that you are going to get what you deserve in life and that being a virtual assistant is one way to get there. Make a decision. Commit to yourself. Back yourself. Trust Sam and Joe. Trust the VA Foundry. To help you with that, I'm going to give you access to my course, the VIP of Mental Health, at no charge. I'm waiting for you for questions and answers. Before we get there, please fill the survey out again. see if it's changed. Then we'll chat for 15 minutes, fire any questions you like at me. Then I'm going to be available at one of the virtual tables for half an hour. Throw anything you want at me. You see me sitting down in a t-shirt on the couch, hanging out, having a chat, work through what you need to work through personally. The moment you get to this point where you are representing yourself and your skill set as a virtual assistant, sit there in full authority, knowing you're good at what you do, knowing you have the skills to achieve this. Anything else you don't know how to do, you're now part of a community. Talk to you in a minute. Fill out the survey, Q&A, let's go.